Good evening, welcome to 5 Minutes and God, Lord of Mercy, a Delvin, Sadler, and
Yeah, you don't know, knowledge-based creativity.
and who we have here?
Highly enlightened.
Yes, and welcome to another week, and clearly knowledge base. It was a great show last week, you would say.
Yeah, when you don't know.
Yes, you enjoyed the show last week?
I definitely did.
Beautiful show. So let's get into today's show, and we're gonna talk about adoption knowledge base. So adoption, yes, Caucasians, which are people of the lighter hue, adopting kids of the babies of the darker hue, that means black children. What's your take on white people adopting black babies?
Kind of stupid question to ask me. Listen to me. Anybody that wants to show children love, it doesn't matter what color you are.
Yes.
If you are gonna go out of your way to take in a child into your home and provide love, safe and nurturing environment for them, kudos to you. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, pink, purple, green. There's no such thing as whiteness. It's called human being and human love. Listen to me. Why is it that the child is now parentless in the first place? Is it that their parent was orphaned by an accident? Yeah, these are the things that we should talk about. Why is the black child in an orphanage? You know? So what we shouldn't be talking about who should be adopting the child. It should be that why is the child in an orphan? And those are the things we need to address. And we need to put aside these color barriers that is hindering the progress of us in this social quagmire which is life. How do you see it?
Alright, what do you have to say, Highly Enlightened?
So I agree with the fact that adoption, it should, like, color should play no role in the adoption process. Like, if they're going to adopt this child and offer them love, nurture them, offer them care, offer them a home, because those are obviously things they don't have, then I don't have a problem with it. But with the, in that same breath, I feel like a lot of the time, the objective is to get a black baby. It isn't always coming from the right place. Like I know a family, and like I'm friends with the person that was adopted, and she's black, and she told me, like, she remembers her mom, whenever they go out and she introduced, she talks about like her hair, and like that, to me, that like it would make me feel uncomfortable, because it's like, why is that? Like, obviously, like, a black person has different hair from a Caucasian person. So like I always asked her, like did you feel any way that your parents were white? And she was like, only sometimes. So I feel like as long as you're doing it and you're not, because obviously they'll know that you're not their parents, but like as long as you're doing it and like it's not like a puppy show thing.
That's where I was gonna go. They adopt them because they look like a puppy.
Yeah, like like as long as it's for a true, genuine, caring reason. All right, cool. But like when it turns into like these puppy show things, that's when I'm like, nah.
No?
Like, okay, like all the hype that happened when like Angelina Jolie adopted.
Yeah, the African.
Yeah, and I was like, why can't it be just Angelina Jolie has adopted another? It was, no, she has adopted an African baby. And it was like, okay, she was getting all the hype because this white woman with all this money adopted an African baby. And like for me, that rubbed me the wrong way.
So do you think, knowledge base, that culturally that a white person can grow up a dark hued baby to an adult with cultural values?
I have to then first accept that there's something called black culture.
Okay, which is a great point.
So that's a very slippery
Because
slope going down.
that is
it's a very slippery slope going down.
Where they talk about cultural, what do you call it now? Black culture, teaching them black heritage and where they're from.
So why do you think we need black heritage in the first place?
We don't.
Oh,
You don't agree with that?
Not at all.
Okay,
let's take it back. Rewind it back. Why that exists?
It's because it was created.
Because it was created.
Yeah.
It's a counterbalance.
Yeah.
Okay? The people, white people, have controlled us for so long and have given us their way of life
That it
for
became
so
a
long
culture.
that
Yeah.
it became a culture,
Yeah.
white culture.
Yeah.
Okay?
So
Listen,
wait. So are you trying to say that before?
I'm not trying to say anything, but anyway, go ahead.
So you.
Culture and history is
Let her,
different.
let her
Go ahead.
articulate herself. Go
I'm
ahead.
just trying to understand if what I am hearing is that prior to white people, black people did not have a culture.
No, that's not what I am saying. What I'm saying is that this advent that people is pushing, that there is something called culture that is only identified by black people. Black people have, what's the word I would say? Black people have a way of life that is Afrocentric in that.
So what is culture?
Culture is an identity that has been fostered in a particular environment or niche group that have similar characteristic and mannerism in how they carry themselves in their day-to-day traverse, if you want to, the way they day-to-day they traverse life. For example, they may look at music and art in a different way.
Right.
They may speak and use slangs
Or dialect.
a
yeah.
dialect in
Yeah.
a different way. They may self-identify with certain objects and certain style, if you want to call it that. So
It's labeled now as our culture. And from the other side, if they try to basically move into this territory, then they're invading that. Hence, they're thieving our culture.
this is baloney.
But it's not a culture.
Oh Jesus.
It's
Okay.
for everyone.
Okay. All right. Okay. Hold on.
Yes,
hold
let's
on.
hear your take now.
Yeah.
Because I agree with that.
Okay. Because this is all right. So
Yes.
hold on. Okay. So first thing, there is and has been and hopefully continues to be a black culture. Of course there is.
So
Wait.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay, so look at this. So before white people came to Africa and enslaved them and all this stuff and then sent them all over the different places, there was a way of living. They had their traditions, they had their beliefs, they had their customs. All of that falls under the umbrella of culture, which was an African culture. So
It's a way of
Well, let her finish.
hold
I
on.
want to
So
hear full story.
they
Yeah.
were there doing their thing, and then the Europeans came in and invaded, and then use religion and all their other things
Yeah.
to oppress those people and try and break them from their culture, which is how they existed well and fine prior to these people coming. So of course there is a black culture. Now, in today, for example, one thing I've seen, like Africans, like Ghanaians and Nigerians, they hold tight to their culture. Even like in their things like their weddings, their funerals, even like Indian people, the Indian culture, the Indian group, when in their weddings, you can see their culture there. Okay, I don't feel that Caucasian people have such a strong, definitive culture as black people do. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but when you asked your original question about Caucasian people raising the black children and not making them aware of their culture, of course that is a problem. You said that why does culture exist? No.
Hold on. And I'll let you speak, but you see, there's no such thing as a black culture. Hold on, let me finish. And let you speak.
Yeah.
Black culture cannot exist because you have black people that live all over the world.
Yes.
Of course.
So what is the difference between a black male living in Barrie, Ontario and a black male that live on Bleecker Street?
Oh.
The black male in Barrie speak proper English, if you want to call it that, does not listen to rock music, rap music. He listened to Alanis Morissette, is that her name?
Canadian artists. And
Yes, and he identifies or have affinity to what you consider white, rural, hold on,
geographical location.
white, rural Ontario affinities or attributes, while the black male that live on Bleecker Street listen to Wu-Tang Clan, wears his pants in a sag, and do graffiti art on the wall.
That's
Does
not
it?
culture.
So hold on. So does that mean that the man on Bleecker Street, instead of shaking your head,
The
just
same
listen.
black
The
man.
same black man.
Yes.
One live on Bleecker Street and one live in Barrie, Ontario.
Yes.
What you're saying, based on your argument, is that the man up in Barrie, Ontario, do not know black culture.
Very well so. I didn't say there's nothing.
That-
Look,
so-
wait. Look, listen. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with the fact that he listens to Alanis Morissette or whatever the name was and lives in Barrie. That has nothing to do with what I am saying. What I am saying is that to deny the fact that a culture that is, that.
A way of life, I put it. I wouldn't put it a culture. I
No,
think
no,
it's a way.
But I think it's more than a way of life
The
because
word culture does exist, but what way? You have a Jamaican culture, you have an American culture, which white people are a part of it. They say the thing that black people contribute most to American society is culture. Believe it or not. Most of the music, the art that come out of American society come from black people. Why? Because that was the only thing they were allowed to do. Why do you think black people are so good at basketball? Delvin, why do you think? And sports in general. Delvin, why do you think that black people are good at basketball and any sports in general?
We're born with this athletic genes.
No.
And not only that.
No.
No, what is it?
It's because we are predisposed to and push in that direction, and time after
In
time.
sport?
What do you mean?
Okay, go
There's
ahead.
nothing else for them to give them.
Go ahead.
So, in other
I
words,
disagree.
there were nothing else that
Yeah,
were
I agree with
afforded to these people.
So you're not saying
So, back in the days, the championship boxers, when allowed to get in, black people, they were very dominant at boxing because they're big bruising Africans. That's the only thing they offered to them. They didn't give them opportunities to be lawyers, doctors, Indian chief, if you want to call it that. They said, you can be singers. So a man come out, the slave master come out with the violin and say, fiddler, play the music. And all the wenches in the houses come out and start singing. So over time, they develop an affinity and a love for music. And as such, it morphed into R&B, soul, and all these
they
things.
bred them that way, you're saying?
I wouldn't use the word bread because they're not
No,
horses.
they're not
But
horses.
I'm saying that was actually
Constant
what
practice
was
becomes
afforded to them.
Yes?
And that's how they excel
What do you
because
think?
they keep doing it.
Let's hear what the Hiighly have to say about that.
I don't know. I'm having a hard time here because I believe that I try my best to
Culture.
to keep
Culturize yourself.
yeah, right. Like
What
because I
culture?
live
Black culture or Jamaican culture?
well both because yes I am Jamaican, but I know that Jamaica's not where I started.
So
I
that's
started
so you adapt African culture then?
Yeah,
parts
you're
of it.
right.
There are elements.
Huh?
Of course, I believe of course.
African culture, you have now embraced that.
Of course, yes.
And that's totally different from Jamaican culture.
In some instances, yes.
Alright, so this African culture that you have embraced, it's only for black people?
I didn't say it's only for black people.
So are you more African than a white South African?
No.
No, I'm asking you.
Yeah, I don't know.
No. What I'm saying, I'm not saying that I'm claiming anything. My initial reaction was to the denial of the existence of a black culture. Of course, there's a black culture, and I'm not saying the person in Barrie doesn't subscribe to some aspects of it because naturally, if his parents like some of it, even if it's as little as the way he makes his rice and peas versus the next way the person of course there is a black culture so this is when you mentioned that a Caucasian couple adopting a black child, would they be losing out? Yes, they would. So okay, let me
Losing out how?
losing out on aspects of the black culture because these Caucasian family, they don't know it. They know what media has allowed them
speak
to
like
know.
a white wing racist white person. So what you're saying is that you want to give this child a single parent house
No.
with abusive situation.
So
with a woman and a man living together. The man beat the woman every day, sleep at the liquor store, smoke cigarettes. The woman goes to party every single night,
Okay.
and abandon the child. The child barely get decent food, and also no proper nurturing, substandard school. What else? What other stereotypes you have about black people?
Yeah, but that's you just said it right there. Those are stereotypes.
Because that's what they think, and that's some of the stereotypes that they're saying is true.
Right.
How did these stereotypes come about?
Hold on.
No. How did they come about?
But you're jumping
So-
like a different bridge. How does a
No, because what I'm trying to say to you is that if that white person, you are then putting up a barrier saying, no, you can't adopt these
Right.
children.
But I never said
because,
that.
No, no, you didn't
Alright.
say that, but
Alright.
you're alluding.
No, I'm not. You're
Okay.
not understanding what
Okay,
I'm
let
saying.
me understand.
What I am saying is I feel like part of the problem that exists in society now is because people aren't aware of who they are. Right? So if like I remember when I was growing up, other than February, Black history was never a thing. Black involvement, Black power, Black awareness, Black contribution was never a thing other than a few days in February. And that's wrong because Black people from all over have contributed so much to society.
I agree.
So I feel that a lot of people, if they understood that the power that they come with, like things would be different. So now a while ago when you were naming off all those things, those are how do we get from talking about culture and Black culture existing or not to talking
Because some people-
to talking about stereotypes that white people created, when in reality if you do research and look at statistics, okay, when it comes to like crimes like molestation, Black people ain't doing that. No. I'm not saying that. Okay, let me rephrase it. Who are the ones that are at the top of the chart when it comes to statistics that are doing that?
Reported statistics.
Okay, when it comes to domestic, when it comes to domestic
Abuse?
like I feel like all those stereotypes that you've listed, like black people get penalized for that being their reality, whereas white people don't feel the wrath of it. When druggies, come on. When I work, when I'm at work and I'm on Sherburne Street, are you kidding me? Like, what am I seeing there?
I
So
understand what I was trying to do is to give you an extreme example of what people would say on the other side. But what I'm trying to say, when a person go into an adoption office to fill out an application, I think the person who is reviewing the document, these are the criteria they look for. Is the couple, because most likely they'll try to put the child
in a
two-parent home.
Yes.
So, is this couple stable and decent people? Do they have a home? Okay. Can they afford this child? Are they criminals? Are they pedophiles? Things like that.
Of
They
course.
tick
And
off
I
a
agree with
whole
all of
box.
that. I agree with all of that.
What is happening is that Black people, and I'm just telling you as is, most Black
Don't
people,
qualify for those, I get that.
most Black people live in single parent home.
Right.
Most Black people are
Right.
underemployed.
Right.
Most Black people have all sort of, no, I'll take that back.
Go ahead.
What I'm trying to say is that in most cases, you can't find a Black family to adopt the children.
Right.
And I'm not
The child
saying
need to be in a home.
the child needs to be in a home.
Definitely, but your original question was
Should they?
Not should they. You said can they give? Are this child missing out?
No, that's the second part of the question.
That
was the
the
second
part-
part.
that's
The
the
first
part-
part was should they? Yes, we agree that they should.
Yes, they should.
Culturally, are they able to actually?
And then he responded to is what is
Right.
Black culture.
Right, and then he explained the culture that there shouldn't be any culture. There shouldn't be anything called culture, right?
Black culture.
Right. There should be just
If you can have Canadian culture, you can have American culture.
And you don't
Jamaican
agree with culture.
You can have Ghanaian culture, but there's no such thing as black culture, because a black man living in Iceland has no affinity with a black man living in New York City.
Right.
His environment in Iceland is totally
Totally
different
different,
from a man living in Harlem.
Yeah.
It's just a truth.
I agree with
Right,
that.
right.
There is no thing that
But there's
innate thing inside of us that identify us with this color.
I don't agree with that
Because if you're saying that, what you're saying is that you're born with some identity of blackness, which is exactly saying what white people think of us.
Yeah.
So you can't take good
Which
things
is
and then
what?
throw out the bad things.
which is what
Some
I'm
white
born
people,
black.
some white people identify black people from the day they were born with criminality. So it is true.
I'm not saying it's not true.
So if you then, as a black person, say there is a black culture
Yeah.
and there is something that identify with us, other than the shade of our skin, that determines how we interface, regardless of where we live on the face of the earth, then you're just going down a very slippery slope.
No, I feel like there is a black culture. What has happened with migration and all that stuff, it has become watered down. And right now, I feel, especially now, there are a lot of people that are trying to get back to a place where they have a better handle on what black culture was. That's why, like, a lot of times there's that struggle with, cultural appropriation, because things that were part of black culture, Caucasians are doing it and getting all this recognition for it. I don't care that, look, I'm not saying that they should be doing it or should not be doing it. What I'm saying is you cannot say that, like deny where it came from. Where did it come? It came from the black culture. So this child,
You mean it came from Africa?
Africa, yeah, which is where.
Yeah, I don't think so. But all of these people who are probably seeking out this kind of things that used to happen in the past and want to bring it back and making it a part of this culture. They themselves, a lot of them are radicalized people.
And some of these,
you know what I mean?
black culture, as you want to call it, you have Africans in Africa that do not like people from the West. Like, don't deal with kata. No kata. No kata. Get work. So what is this kata? African Americans, cotton pickers. What I'm saying is that some people that you believe look like me and you do not identify with us, because their geography or the way they were brought up, if you want to call it that, is totally different.
They see us as outsiders.
They see us as
right,
outsiders.
but how did it come to be like that though?
How did it come to be like that?
Yeah, we're like,
Where we became outsiders? We don't live there.
right, we don't live there now,
No,
and again.
we don't live there.
Right.
We have
Not only that, they don't even want us there.
How did it get to be there though? How? What was the cause that now there are separations amongst black people because of their geography? How did that happen?
You know what, we've digressed a lot from the original topic here and started discussing ourselves. So you think that they should adapt, right?
Yeah, they can adapt. If the person is they should adapt. Like if the person is in a caring, nurturing environment, and it doesn't matter what the person look like that's doing the adoption, they should be able to adapt. Or do you
say they should adapt?
Yes,
Enlightened?
of course, yes, they should adopt, as long as they're doing it for the right reasons and it's to the benefit of the child. Yes.
Not a commercial thing.
Yeah, not a puppy show thing.
Not
yes.
like you're walking a dog.
Yes. Oh my Jesus, yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
not that. It must be because you want a child, because now you and your spouse cannot have one.
Or even if you can have
complicated
you have the
pregnancy
resources,
where you can adapt.
or you have the resources in abundance.
So it should be genuinely fun.
Yes.
I agree 100% because I don't see color, and neither should a parent that wants to.
Yeah. That's a bad statement.
What do you mean? I don't see color.
Of course you see color.
I'm not talking about physically. I see people as human beings.
Yeah, so that's what
Yeah, I
you should
see
say.
people. That's what I'm saying. I see people as human beings, and if a human being wants to adapt a child, adapt the child in spite of the color that they have, because another human being wants to adapt another human being. That's how I see it.
Yes, but don't say I don't see color.
But let me finish what I said, man. Like, good God. Yeah, that's everything ties into each other. So, so you agree with that knowledge base?
100%.
And Hiighly Enlightened, we agree. All three of us agree on that. So, you want to adapt? Go out and adapt. So, what do you think of today's show, knowledge base?
Well, it's quite adapterizing, you know?
Adapterizing.
Yeah, I don't know if that word exists.
What did you think of today's show?
I think it, you know.
There's debate.
Yes, I'm so heated.
It was a debatable show, yeah?
Yes.
But it was all good, you
Yes,
say?
of course. And dialogue that is good. Dialogue is good.
Yeah, dialogue is good.
Yes.
So what do you want to say to the People Nation knowledge base?
Well, People Nation, do what you want for them.
Yeah, what you would like to say to the People Nation? To like?
Like, thumbs up, subscribe, share this video,
Yes.
comment.
Of course. Leave
Tell them
a
that I'm
comment.
right.
Yes, and not only that, you know, you can say you agree with knowledge base, you agree with Hiighly Enlightened, and you could say Delvin allowed them to talk too much. You know? You can state whatever you want. That is the nature of our show. So until next week, peace out.
Not the ghetto I go, where sufferation I once know.